Sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, kindly smash that subscribe button and turn your notification so you are notified each time I upload. And please give this video a thumb up. I appreciate you all so much, and I'm saying a very big shout out to every one of you for the love, the support you will shower me here with. I am grateful, and you all are super sweet. So today we'll be talking something very important, and it's a video a black woman made. She was asking her people in her community, why do they touch black women's hair? Or not just black women, black people's hair, because they do this to men too, especially the ones on locks and all that. I mean, who touches people's hair? That is something that I find very weird, but then it is what it is, always pump colored people, because it happened to me recently at an event. I mean, just straight up, hence I stood, like immediately I noticed that I stood up. So a lot of them are always coming out to call themselves out because they know they are the major people that wake up and they want to touch your hair. Some do not even ask. They don't even ask for permission. That is another one. Because I know if they ask for permission, they know they aren't going to get a yes. So the best way to go around it is straight up dip their fingers in your hair and talk. So it's a ghetto attitude. It's just not acceptable. Don't stop doing that. Don't do that. And they are also complaining among themselves that they do it to themselves. Like, you know, the next thing, the next thing when they see you, what they want to do is just to, why do you want to pet somebody's head or hair? I mean, there are no other things to do and talk about. And then the next thing is like, you know, having the oil. If you see a fine hair, you can admire it. Oh, this hair is really healthy and beautiful and all that. You move out. But then if you are now having the urge, you ask for permission. And I am sure nobody's going to grant, except you guys are really close, you know, because this is somebody's crown. And you just want to wake up and touch somebody's crown without even, and some of them are out there defending the bullshit. That is just another thing. So let's get into this.
I have a request of white women who have been following me for a while. Please stitch this with what you think my thoughts are on this comment. And P.S. I don't think white people should be able to ask rhetorical questions anymore. I have a request of white women who have been following me for a while. Please stitch this.
I ain't white, but I feel this woman's pain. This is my hair. This is all my hair growing out of my scalp. As you can see, I keep it braided 98% of the time, mostly because long hair is kind of cumbersome, you know, for day-to-day. But I started keeping my hair braided or pinned up in some way, shape, or form after it started to get really long, because people would feel the need to touch or even grab my hair. I was in a club once and a girl literally grabbed a fistful of my hair to see if it was a wig or something to pull out. So yeah, if you're a white person and you're asking this question, just don't ask it. Just believe us when we tell you that this happens, first of all. Second of all, go back to kindergarten and remember what your kindergarten teacher told you about touching other people. Keep your hands to yourself. I don't care how pretty you think my hair is. I don't care what you think about my hair, period. Keep your hands to yourself. That's today's PSA. Do with it what you will.
I have a request of white women who have been following me for a while. Please stitch this.
Stitch us with what we think your reaction was to that comment and that question. And I have to say something along the lines of incredulity or gobsmacked, but not really surprised because, you know, same old, same old. And I just wanted to add to this conversation that, like, I just saw my mutual Megan Dowling stitch your video also and did a great job. I'll link it down in my caption. She did a great job talking about some of the issues around this. And I just want to say that I feel like I have kind of a unique perspective on this as a palm-colored person with 3C curly hair who, at many times in my life, a lot of people have guessed that I wasn't white, mostly just because of the hair and the tan. I don't really know. And take it from me, as someone whose hair, when I have it, can do this, that you can tell. I can always tell when someone wants to touch my hair. They get this look in their eyes. Maybe I can't always tell, but I can tell when they want to. But here's the difference. They don't just touch it, right? Yeah, they don't just touch it without asking. And typically they don't even ask. I can just like tell that look, and I'm like, do you want to touch my hair? And they're like, yeah. So, gee, I wonder why my experience has been different.
I have a request of white women who have been following me for a while. Please stitch this.
Hello, fellow whites. Want to learn a thing? Check out Lack of Impulse Control's video. But if you just want to be a little dick, welcome to the party. Not the best thing you can do when a black woman or woman of color is vulnerable and shares an experience that was unpleasant with you. Say, what a day. That sounds like it sucks. Or, and often preferably, just shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up, man. You want to be the nice white lady, don't you? You want to be the good white. What you've done, you've just taken this experience, this unpleasant, shitty experience of white privilege. You've made it about you. Who would do such a thing? Not me. I'm a good white. I'm a great white. No one cares. Your incredulity is a front. If you don't see it that way, you haven't been listening. Reread your comment. Is it about you, maybe? If it is, just shut the fuck up. Guys, it's the easiest thing to do, to just shut the fuck up. As a white, I have been fully guilty of this sort of behavior. One of the best lessons I ever learned is sometimes shut the fuck up. Hope that helped, kisses.
I have a request of white women who have been following me for a while. Please stitch this.
It happens all the time. Like, even I have committed this crime. I grew up 5 miles north of the border of Mexico, and there is something that I learned culturally where if you see something that is pretty on another person, you touch it. You don't want to give them the ojo. And I did not grow up around a lot of black people, but my dad's next door neighbor was an older black lady, and she and I became friends. And she got a haircut, and it was amazing. And I said, "Oh my God, your haircut, it looks so amazing." And I reached out and touched it, and I knew exactly what I'd done wrong the minute I did it. We fuck up sometimes. Just apologize. Apologize.
I have a request of white women who have been following me for a while. Please stitch this.
One time I was living in Napa Valley, and this older white woman decided to walk up to me in line at CVS and run her fingers through my hair, which was like this beautiful green color at the time, just as though she knew me. Perfectly normal. Just walked right up to me. And then she's like fingering my hair, and she's like, people tell me not to, but I really want to dye my hair this color. And I'm like, "Ma'am, who are you? Why are you touching me? Get away from me. Who in their right mind would think this was okay?"
Let's watch a quick little movie.
Stitch this with what you think my thoughts are on this.
Hey there, I'm Kate from Massachusetts, but really from Nova Scotia. And that's important, and you'll see why in a minute. So, you want me to guess what you think about what this other person is thinking when they wrote this. I don't know where they're from.
Let's listen to the entire video that had the instructions in it real quick.
I have a request of white women who have been following me for a while. Please stitch this with what you think my thoughts are on this comment. And P.S. I don't think white people should be able to ask rhetorical questions anymore.
Okay, so the request was for white women that had been following Rebecca for a while to give what they felt Rebecca's response was going to be to somebody saying, "Who touches somebody else's hair?" Let's go back to Kate.
But in Canadian speak, that would mean, who the hell does that? What are they thinking? What the fuck? Why would someone do that? That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. That's nuts. They should not do that. That's what that means. But I don't know what you're thinking. And If I were you,
This is a prime example of white women just needing to insert themselves into something, because Rebecca clearly said to stitch it with what you think I'm thinking. But then Kate, after this whole condescending and patronizing message, says, I don't know what you're thinking, which means that she should have never done the stitch. But let's see how it finishes.
if I were you, I would be more interested in what your followers were thinking instead of having us all play this little charade that feels like a trick question. And being a white woman, I'm not going in that rabbit hole, but I do look forward to what everybody else has.
So Kate, not following instructions, is suggesting that Rebecca instead pay attention to what white women feel about what other white women do to black women. Okay, beyond the fact that this is my best friend and y'all know that I don't play about mine, the way that Kate approached her with this sugary sweet, fake infantilizing, patronizing bullshit because she could not handle a black woman expressing what happens to her and the dismissal of white women like herself. To take what Rebecca was using as a teaching moment about the dehumanization of black women and to call it a charade, Kate, that tells me everything about who you are. And then to also add that with how you were speaking to Rebecca, seals that in about who you are, which means that you have no class, no character, and really no business talking to anybody about what somebody should do.
I have a request of white women who have been following me for a while. Please stitch this.
Who touches black women's hair? We know the answer to that question. They knew the answer to that question when they asked it. It's a rhetorical question. But here's the thing. This rhetorical question is meant to express disbelief that it happened, and we need to stop doing that. We need to stop being surprised because it comes off like we're not paying attention. Right? You know who touches black women's hair, and you know why, and you know that it's not okay. Stop being surprised. Black women are not in petting zoos anymore.
What you think my thoughts are on this comment.
Look, I'm a bald white man, and I can confirm that people still ask to touch other people's hair or don't ask all the time. Part of what led to me becoming antisocial and not interacting with people is because people kept asking to touch my facial hair. Almost exclusively white men and women. It was even worse when I had my full beard. Like, I had people on a daily basis come up to me and ask me if they could touch my beard or just straight up walk up and stick their fingers in my fucking facial hair. To deny that this happens to people, let alone to black women, is insane and means that you're completely out of touch with the people around you.
Please stitch this with what you think my thoughts.
What's frustrating about asking that question, however it was meant, is that it ignores the answer, which if this poster was a woman, they should know. People who touch your body without your consent are people who feel the authority to touch your body without your consent. Bad people do it. But that's kind of loaded, isn't it? Because people touch other people's bodies without consent all the time. In fact, I'm going to relate this to something that I experienced as a child that I'm still experiencing with my 11-year-old daughter. I had long curly blonde hair as a kid, and she now has very thick, curly, way curlier than mine, curly blonde hair. And I don't know what it is about the blonde part, but people like extra lose their minds over blonde hair. It's weird and uncomfortable, and I don't like it. But when she was little, she told me something that I had been feeling since I was a little kid, which is that, it was actually a very similar situation to yours, where she had asked to pet someone's dog, and then that person had pet her, and she was maybe like 3 years old, and she said, I don't understand. I asked to pet their dog. Why didn't she ask to pet my hair? Why does she want to pet my hair? And that really hit me, that word pet, right, at the time, because that's dehumanizing. When my daughter said she was being pet, I realized that the way that I had felt as a child was dehumanized, right? And I didn't have the words for it then, and it took out of the mouths of babes for me to realize, like, really understand what I felt, because feelings are complicated. But my daughter is going to grow up to be a white woman like I am. And she is going to inherit the privilege of being a white woman. And it's not great, right? Because we already live in a world where people feel entitled to our bodies. You know, most women that I know have had some sort of unwanted sexual contact. In fact, I think all women that I know have had unwanted sexual contact. Half the population feels varying degrees of entitlement to our bodies. You add to that this perversion of what is a questionable but socially, formally acceptable touch between adult and child, right? Because I can tell you, when you have a kid, there's a certain percentage of the population that wants to touch them regardless, right? They don't pet them. Usually they want to touch a little foot or a little hand or something, right? Or a little cheek. But that normally stops when the kid's about 2. The petting goes on well beyond that, right? And then when you are a grown woman and another grown woman who should be your social equal pets you, not only is she dehumanizing you, but she's saying, you are below me in social status. You are like a child to me. Is she thinking that? I doubt it. She's not going, I can treat her like a baby because she's black. What she's saying in her mind is, ooh, I like her hair. But she's not doing the thought process that she would give if she wanted to touch my hair, because I am her equal in her mind. And it's so fast, you don't even realize it. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just saying that this seems like it is dehumanizing and infantilizing and so frustrating, all right? I can't imagine how unsafe it feels to live in a world in which more than half the population feels entitled to touch your body.
Please stitch this with what you think my thoughts are on.
I've been following you long enough to know that I don't know what your specific reaction is going to be, because I can think of like 10 or so that you might have to this. But I just, my 2 cents I want to put in here is, as a white person who has recently shaved their head and has had many people reach out to touch my hair without asking. Yes! People absolutely touch other people's hair without asking! And, like, it doesn't bother me the same way it would bother a black woman, because I don't have that experience. And so most of the time I'm like, yeah, you can touch my hair, it's fuzzy. But of course people do. I can't tell if the commenter is, if this is incredulity or disbelief. But if it's disbelief, you're fucking stupid.
I have a request of white women who have been following me for a while. Please stitch.
Us. White people touch people's hair all the time. I've seen it happen to me. People come up when my hair is actually done and curly and think it's okay. Oh my God, your hair's so beautiful. I've literally seen other white people, especially older folks, go up and touch a black woman's hair. Oh my God, is this real? Bitch, yes. Like, but that doesn't give you the right to you can't just walk up and touch somebody. Like, that's not normal. It should never be normal. It's weird. But yeah, white people are in denial and think, oh, I've never done that. Just because you've never done it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It happens. It needs to stop.
I have a request of white women who have been following me.
Rhetorical questions derail the point. They call the premise into question, look to excuse or justify, asking for more proof. The same entitlement that a person felt when they reached over and put their hands on another human without consent. Expecting that person to educate you. So even if you're genuinely surprised, why is it on the creator to educate you for everything? Why does your education come spoon-fed? You have the ability to answer for yourself. Who would do that? Why are you asking a question you already know the answer to? You could know the answer.
Please stitch this with what you think my thoughts.
While a lot of white women feel that black hair is inappropriate and that natural hairstyles are wrong, they all want to touch it because, ooh, we gotta touch that head, which is completely inappropriate and needs to stop, and white women, just stay in your lane.
Please stitch this with what you think my thoughts are on.
Okay, so I'm a hairstylist, and I've got to say, I work with a lot of curly hair, and I think the idea of thinking that that doesn't happen is the kind of privilege you only have if people don't invade your personal autonomy. And how nice it must be to think that people don't do that shit, because they absolutely do. And I think that might be what you're thinking.
Women who have been following me for a while, please stitch this.
Perhaps that replier lives in a hole somewhere, but I doubt it. I'm pretty sure this is just common knowledge. But the people who are touching other people's hair are white ladies, and they're touching people of color's hair without asking, like it's okay. And there's one big thing about like touching another person is that you need consent. You need consent. You need permission before touching another person. And that means also their hair, also what they're wearing, what they're carrying. You ask first. You always ask first. We're fucking adults here. You ask first. And this is not, a free-for-all to go ask permission and try to touch people's hair. Just leave people alone. You don't need to know how every other adult feels. It's creepy. Just stop.
That they haven't been paying attention. Or worse, they have been paying attention and they want to center themselves and show that they are one of the good white people. And I get that because I also used to do that and am still guilty of unconsciously slipping back into that. And it's all about understanding that we are all inherently a threat. There is no individualism when it comes to this. White women and white bodies are a threat. And I hope that we can all continue to do better.
So this is all I got from this video, and excuse me. And the reality is that they still touch people's hair without even consent. And they think it's okay. And some of them think there is nothing wrong with it. Like, it's okay to touch your hair. It's okay to pet your hair. Like, what? I don't know. But this is really insane. Like, how people just want to touch your hair. They want to feel how the hair is. Like, I don't wake up and want to touch my colleague's hair or asking, why do I even have to ask you, can I touch your, for what? There is no need for that. That thing is just very shitty. And they always want to touch my hair, especially when I'm wearing braids, or I don't let anyone. Moreover, I can't remember the last time I braided my hair because I decided to lock my hair. So by the time you bring your hand close to my hair and I'm already moving it, or if I am seated and somebody comes, I am always conscious because I know they can do and undo, trying to dip their hands or their fingers on your hair without even asking. Man, stop all that. It's a ghetto behavior. Seriously, it's ghetto. I don't see how people want to wake up and, oh, now let me tell you what happened to me. I had it was a family friend's birthday, 18th birthday party a few weeks back, and I knew already. I haven't seen so many people, and I knew seeing new people. They go, oh, your hair is all grown, and because I don't know why they always each time they see you, they have something to say about your hair. So I decided to wear wig, and so when I go to the party, we're all having fun. So at some point I sat down, and the next thing, and she's elderly, she's probably 60 something or 70 something years, not even 70 something years. Before I could say Jack, so she came close to where I was with other people. She was talking to us, and the next thing, the next thing I saw was her fingers, boom, straight up on my hair, and immediately I stood up. So immediately I saw the hand straight up cut because I was seated. So I stood up straight up and walked away. So I don't know why they do that, and they still do it to this very moment, and it's uncalled for. It is not okay to touch people's hair. It is irritating. I mean, it's a very weird act people wake up to do. Stop doing it. If you all the time want to touch a black woman's hair because you feel like they changed his hair, or like she came to work with this hair and then tomorrow is another hair and all, please desist from doing things like that. It's horrifying. I mean, can you imagine hanging out and the next thing, pew, all your finger, it's irritating too. I don't know how you dip your hands or start touching somebody's hair and all that, and still they finish doing that, they are not going to wash their hands and the rest of man. It's so weird. Stop it. I ain't finding it funny. It is not cool. It is not okay. Or you see somebody at the bus station and the next thing, they want to know what is on your hair and they start asking, is it original? It is not. Stop it, please. It's irritating on a serious note. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.